One story that comes to mind for sure that I think was a learning experience for me was I was brand new in the mission. I had my first kind of real companion after I was going through this, weird cycle of changing up every couple weeks where I was and who I was working with. And so I got, my first real area that I was going to be in, for a full transfer at least, and first real companion. And my trainer there, Elder Meek, solid guy. And so we were together for quite a while, and he got really sick towards the end of our time together. Something happened. He got and so he got something weird in his stomach. It's called Gastroenteritis. I don't even know what we call that in English. And so he just would vomit all the time at everything that he ate. He just couldn't keep anything down anymore. And so that, just brought us a lot of really weird, interesting times, where we'd just be walking along the street and Elder Meek is like, "Whoa, Elder Meek, you're just puking there." And or I'd be, start a contact or something, start talking to someone, and Elder Meek all of a sudden has to run behind the dumpster to barf his brains out. This is really embarrassing for this poor person that we're trying to talk to, So that was rough. And, part of that is Elder Meek started getting super skinny. He couldn't keep any food down. We had to go to the doctor all the time, see what was wrong with him. And just, because he couldn't keep any food down, he was getting super skinny and had to rest a lot. And one, it was interesting for him to just watch him at the beginning of my mission. It was cool to see him, because what happened is, as he progressively got sicker and more time went on, the reality that he might have to go home was starting to sink in and leave his mission early. And to see just kind of the shock and the difficulty that he had with dealing with that was something that was really interesting for me to see, because it was a brand new or just made me think about how important the mission was to him, how important it is in general, and kind of what a sacred but limited time that we have, and that really at any minute it could all be over, and that that was something I think that stayed with me. The rest of my mission was the importance of using time wisely, because you're given that those 2 years, and it's not given again. And sometimes, you're not even guaranteed that you'll have the full 2 years, so you don't want to leave your apartment and, waste the day and then come back at night thinking that, we'll, just do better tomorrow. Or you don't want to come back to your apartment every night with regrets. You want to go out and you want to leave it all out there on the field, because in the morning there's a very real chance that you could not be there, that you might have to leave. And in a lot of cases there are times where you're just transferred or something overnight too, and you get to stay in the mission, but just a new area all of a sudden, and you realize, well, and sometimes you want to live your mission such that you can be transferred instantly like that and not have any regrets, like, oh man, I need to, if I'd only done this, if I had only done, a little bit better, or had a couple more hours to fix things, So that was a real important learning lesson. But as part of that, we were together for a while, and he didn't want to go home, and he pushed through this sickness, and we wanted to keep working. And I think we each pushed each other, and probably wasn't the best for him or his condition, but we kept working and going out. And I remember one time my mom sent me all these multivitamins that I would take to keep your nutrient level up. And Elder Meek wanted to try one of my vitamins, and so it's like, sure, you can try a vitamin. And for some reason, the vitamin stayed in his stomach, whereas nothing else would, And I don't know what it was, but I think like the first time his body had received any real nutrients in the last couple of weeks, and like all of a sudden Elder Meek had like 10 times as much energy as he had ever had. And like we were out on the street, contacting at night, and Elder Meek is just marching around, whistling and smiling at everybody, and like, this is a guy who just lost like, 50 pounds and was super frail and, like barely moving, and all of a sudden he's just like, he's just, the happiest guy on the face of the earth. And just kind of ridiculous the way we would, talk to people sometimes. And I just remember, laughing all the time. And I remember we talked, we talked to this one lady, or I think I started it out, and then, he came in and just started, smiling at her or something while I was talking, and she just busted up laughing, and like, and I don't know, we cracked a couple of jokes or something, but we wanted to show her the church, and we were telling her about our message, and we showed her where the church was, and we set up an appointment for the next day. And we went the next day, and she showed up. She came to our appointment, and it was really cool because we were just talking for a while, and this lady, she was from Romania actually. As we were talking, we had just this awesome spiritual lesson, and she told us, it's just like, I was just like walking around because I really wasn't going anywhere. I was just walking around the streets, and I was really sad. I'm here in I'm not in my country. I'm here just working all by myself. And I was just like feeling really depressed. And she was telling us, and then, Elder Meek on Cloud 9 comes in and just totally brightened up her day. And it was something that is exactly what she needed to feel, better. And it's just kind of a cool thing to see how the Lord does, interesting things to put the right people in the right places where they're needed, And she became one of the best investigators I think I had throughout my whole mission. It was awesome to see her spiritual progression and the things she was willing to do and learn, and the things we learned from her. She was a really cool lady, and she ended up going back to Romania. We didn't baptize her. She wasn't baptized, but she was just a faithful attendant at church, and she always read her scriptures, and it was just a lot of fun to teach her and pray with her. I think we had one of the cool experiences of my mission was being able to pray with investigators about the Book of Mormon, and for them to know if it was true or not. And we did that with her, and it was just a really powerful experience where she had a great realization right there of the truthfulness of the things that we had been teaching, and it was really cool to see her change, and the spirit that you could clearly see, the spirit she was feeling, and the change that was happening in her life. And it's just really cool to kind of think about, you see this person now and rewind, 6 or 8 weeks earlier when we first met on the street, just because of kind of something kind of goofy, And it was, it's just cool. It's definitely a testament on people on the Lord takes care of you on the mission, and He takes care of His children, and He'll help you to help others if you put your faith in Him.